All right. Well, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well out there in the universe and the world. Cheers. Hey, hey, hey. You are listening to Astronomy Daily Live. So, this is a live, uh, daily live stream. Happens every single day at 2 hours UTC. We go on and we go on for about an hour or so, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But what we do is we focus on astronomical topics. So anything to do with astronomy, which you know covers quite a bit, uh, quite a bit. Astronomy is sort of the study of everything. And so, yeah, that's a lot to be able to talk about. And we do. We definitely do. I'm getting my live stream going here. For some reason, it's still working. I'm glad about that. So come on in, join the ever growing circle of friends. This thing is slowly, there it goes. There it goes. So, hey, 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 everybody. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Come on in. Come on in. Got the chat up and running. I'm going to start up my smartphone that will show me the live stream. Looks like that's going. So cool. Well, here we are. Here we are. So hope everybody's doing well. One of the things that I like to do is a little uh, self-analysis sometimes. And so what I actually did early on when I first started doing this live stream is I wrote a little program in Perl that would count, well, would take a stream of text, right, a bunch of words, and count the number of times each word um, um, appeared in that text stream. So it would count the number of thes and the number of whatever, right? And so what I'm interested in doing is counting the number, seeing how many times uh, I or someone else says, for instance, the word astronomy, and it's kind of fun because I can artificially inflate that count if I say astronomy and astronomy and astronomy and astronomy and astronomy and astronomy. So for this transcript today, there will be what, an extra six um, uh, counts of the word astronomy, and I just did it again. So, so yeah, I like to look at those kinds of things, and uh, so I posted yesterday's um, word count on my blog, and so we can go over there. Astro and music, Astro and music. Oh, that went to Amazon for some reason. Oh, come on. Oh, blacking out a little bit there. There we go. So that's how it's going to be. I don't know why this is taking so long. Catherine313, howdy. Atawahinta, howdy. So, as I said, I wrote a program that uh, not only counts the number of words said and or counts the number of words in a text stream, but it also counts the number of individual words. So in yesterday's stream, right? In yesterday's stream, I said the word I 180 times. And I said the word the 179 times. See how that works? So what I like to do is I like to go down and find the first sort of, scientific or astronomical words. See, because a lot of these are just, in and this and all and here and, you know. Now, is pretty, is that a, is that a scientific term, an astronomical term? That might sort of be the first one. Let's see. I said me 17 times. There we go. So constellation. Constellation, I said 16 times. Um, Tim. Yeah, it's you know, the universe has a way of you know, just knocking you down and knocking you down and knocking you down, and somebody's probably getting a good laugh, but yeah, that sucks. Glad that you could join us, though. I know it's very early at your location. Anyway, I do this from time to time. I like to see what words are being used. Um, so I said the word planetary 14 times, right? So that's not bad. Centauri, I said 14 times. Images, 13 times. Saw red up here. Red, red, I said 15 times. Blue, I said 12 times. Where's green? I wonder where green is. Green. There it is, 4 times. So that's interesting. I said the word red, um, what, 12 times? Yeah. Anyway, I just think that this is an interesting way to sort of analyze uh, what's being said, and I think for myself, you know, um, uh, looking at this kind of an analysis is kind of interesting and maybe helpful, right? The only thing that it doesn't do, and maybe it's doing it now because I'm just seeing it now. See, there's an What I have never seen is an I don't think that is in here. Oh, there is an Huh. It's only uh it's only done once. I have a problem with that. Yeah, I think that Rabbit is pretty cool. Y'all don't know about that yet. I think, do I have a link to it down in the? Oh, yeah, I think I might have a link to it down in the description. But if I don't, I will at least send you my profile, and then you can go from there. So with that, every Monday at 0 hours UTC, I will uh, I will do something, and then during the week at 0 hours UTC, if I'm here, I may or may not play something, but it'll always be at 0 hours UTC, and always on Monday at 0 hours UTC. First moments of the week. Anyway, so I just sort of like to look at these. I like to find particular words like astronomy. Oh, the word astronomy I said 3 times yesterday. Can you believe that? I said astronomical 3 times as well. But so yeah, that's pretty sad. You know, I only said astronomy 3 times. Well, today's analysis will show much more because I artificially inflated it. Um, but like planetary, which I said 14 times, and that's it. So I never actually said the word planet. Let's see, like galaxy. Let's look at galaxy. Did I say galaxy? Did I said galaxy twice? So I didn't show all of these because, as you can see at the top here, this is another little bit of the analysis that I did. This is the total unique word count. So no, that is not the unique word count. That's the actual word count. So that's how many words um, the Google translator uh, determined that I said in yesterday's live stream, 6,400. Okay. And so what I did is I also calculated how many words per second and words per minute I was therefore speaking. And I'm happy to report that I am speaking pretty slowly. And I'm sort of glad about that. I hope it doesn't sound um, condescending or anything like that. I hope not. This is pretty much how I speak. Pretty much. Um, I think I'm probably emphasizing a little bit more than I normally would here. Um, Take care, Tim. Very long day. Yeah. All right. Take care. Thanks, Tim, for popping in. Anyway, so I am speaking at about 80 words per minute. Hello, Bob Dog. Nice to see you. So I'm speaking at about 80 words per minute. Now, I can take other transcripts and do the same kind of analysis. And what I usually do is I grab like the weekly space hangout. So I did that for the 27th of June, the last one, the most recent one, and found that they spoke 6,288 words in about I think about 41 minutes 17 seconds. So that puts them at 2.54 words per second, or 152 words a minute. So they they were speaking almost exactly twice as fast as what I normally speak to you. So I think that's kind of interesting. Um, and the most common word used was the word the. It was used 287 times. 287 times. And the first astronomical scientific word, I think I'm going to count the word system to be sort of out of the ordinary because everything else is with and but and up and very and then and now and no. But this word system, they said 19 times. They said time, the word time, they said 18 times. They said the word stuff 16 times. Now, did I say the word stuff? I did. I said it once. They said the word stuff 16 times. 16 times. They said the word solar 16 times. They said the word space 15 times. Let's see how many times I said space. Space, probably not very much. Not not at all. So maybe once I said the word space. Let's see. Universe, they said 12 times. How many times did I say universe? Oh, the most I would have said it is once. Well, now I've said it like 2 or 3 times. Universe, universe, universe. Asteroid, they said 11 times. Anyway, you can really nerd out on these kinds of things. I said it 4 times. So yeah, it's just kind of an interesting, weird thing. Let's see, how many times did they say the word astronomy? They said the word astronomy twice, and the word astronomical twice, and the word astronomers twice. So I said astronomy 3 times and astronomical 3 times. So yeah, it's just kind of an interesting little analysis, and it's I like it because it's feedback. Um, I think that's an interesting idea, Bobby, to play music from the Hearts of Space through Rabbit. I think that's an interesting idea. And yes, I am gaming the study, which is why uh, I definitely don't want to do this kind of analysis too much because then I'll probably start, actually sort of thinking about what I'm saying, right? I mean, I'm going to naturally want to game it in a particular way, and that's not good science. So I need to try to be as unbiased as I possibly can, and just say, you know, whatever seems appropriate at the time. Let the chips fall. Um, but this is the kind of thing where you can write a paper, and because I haven't looked at all the data, right? I mean, I have enough data now, right? I've been doing this since January 13th or 14th. I forget. Um, I have enough data now that I'll bet you that I don't know. I don't know if there would be any patterns. I don't know if there would be. Um, yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know. I've never looked at the data. What I'd be interested in doing, just off the top of my head, was, you know, you know, take the transcripts of all of my live streams that I've done so far and count, uh, see how many. times I said the word astronomy in each one, and then plot that versus day, and even do Fourier analysis on it. See if there are any frequencies that pop up, um, and do that for a number of sort of astronomical or space or science words, and you know, and then you can correlate, right? You can um, uh, you can see if there's a correlation between the number of times I say the word astronomy and the number of times I say the word astronomical. Is there a correlation there? Just all kinds of interesting things that you know can be done, and I think I've actually got enough data now to uh, to maybe start looking at this. See, you all didn't know that, and I guess I'm revealing this for the first time ever. That one of the things that I really need is data. So I'm creating my own data just by doing these live streams. So yeah, very cool. Anyway, so that's just fun, sort of a nerding out thing. That's fun to do, fun to look at from time to time, but just from time to time. Um, uh, Bobby, not quite sure what you mean. Not quite sure what you mean by that, Bobby. Please clarify. I recorded Hearts of Space today. I have not listened to it. I had and this isn't what prevented me from listening to it, but I had a little incident with my thumb drive, with one of my thumb drives. Now, this looks pretty normal, you know, normal thumb drive, but so it was sticking in a computer, right? It was sticking straight out in a computer like that, and I walked by it and it went and did that. So I'm not too happy about that. However, believe it or not, it still works. Just my rabbit room or your rabbit room. Bobby, if you want to do that in your room, that is I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. Go for it. By the way, cheers. So so yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'm interested in seeing how long it lasts. This is a 32 gig thumb drive too. It's like, there's lots of stuff on this. So yeah, that's sort of that's sort of made for a pretty sad day. Oh, you did. Okay. All right. Well, you definitely have the advantage there then. So yeah, depending on what service you actually got. Um, uh, I know that I subscribed for at least a couple years, and I was getting the full service, everything, which means yeah, programs on demand. Um, I forget. Yeah, I mean, access to everything, right? Everything from program one up up to current. Uh, and there's something like 1186 of them now. And yeah, I remember program 1000. That was very, very cool. Uh, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Auto Hearts of Space, I think, started in the Bay Area around 1981, 82, something like that, and then they went into syndication on um, on any PBS radio station, and usually played like, I want to say Sunday nights, maybe Saturday nights. I think Sunday nights. Um, and yeah, went into syndication about 1983, 85, and have been doing it ever since. Ever since, and of course they have their own site now and all of that. But I'm pretty sure that it's still the radio shows are still being played around the country, maybe around the world. But yeah, yeah, they've um, since the early days they've really sort of expanded into other almost different genres. Um, you know, they're really into um, oh, what's the term? Like regional music, and that isn't the right term, but that's about as close as I can get. Um, yeah, when you were young. Um, uh, so they'll have a Celtic show, and they'll have a a Saharan show. They'll have a Middle Eastern show. They'll have an Asian show, um, and those are very, very cool as well. But they don't really size up to the the space music that I like to hear, which I think is sort of universal uh, in that sense, pun intended. Yeah, well, Bobby, anything, if you want to play anything with Steve Roach, I will definitely listen. Steve Roach, Robert Rich, for sure, John Seary, um, uh, yeah, any of those for sure. I will listen in. I think that would be very, very cool. Very, very cool. But I like Eric Satie. Have you ever heard his music? Um, Absolutely fantastic and very ambient, very ambient. It was actually Brian Eno who coined that term ambient, and I'm probably paraphrasing a little bit, but he defined it as music um, that is that that is supposed to be in the background. Um, you know, you don't necessarily have to be aware of it, but if you are aware of it, it is pleasant sounding. It's nice. So that's what he defined as ambient. So if you're not listening to it, it's great, and if you are listening to it, it's great. So I encourage you all, if you want to get into ambient, um, start sort of at the beginning. And as I said, I would recommend Eric Satie and what's the Debussy. Definitely, a lot of Debussy is ambient. But then check out Brian Eno. His music for airports was exactly that. They played this stuff, what you'll hear in various um, airports in the world, and I guess it worked out really really well. Um, yeah. Atta, what I find is that when I use music um, with my meditations, what it does is it tends to take me on a journey, right? Um, and the sound actually creates um, images in my head. So it's sort of like externally induced imagination, and usually extremely interesting. If I want to meditate that way and go, like on a journey, then music will definitely do that. If I want to do meditation where I'm trying to like eliminate or at least minimize thought, right? Then any kind of sound is going to be a little distracting. Although a good meditator, right, um, can meditate pretty much anywhere, anytime. Oh man, I got my thing all tied up again. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. First class. First class. All right. Well, I the um the uh the first thing that I showed on Rabbit earlier today was an In Search Of episode called In Search of the Dark Star. The Dark Star. And what I want to do is um, I want to I want to go over to that site because I want to remember what they were talking about. Come on. Oh, gotta pause that. Here we go. Not letting me go down. The Dogon tribe in Africa, and sorry, let's see if Wikipedia has anything on this, or just Google in general. Dogon tribe, and I will share. my screen here in a second. Dogon people, Central Plateau region of Mali in West Africa. So they may not, this thing actually may not say anything about what In Search Of was examining. But so one of the things, and here I guess I can just share my screen anyway. Share. So here I'm just looking at the Wikipedia entry. Let's see if nope, nothing referencing dark star. So all right, forget that. So what In Search Of was talking about was the fact that these Dogon people um, have this uh, have this this tradition, this knowledge, uh, and we'd actually have to look and or listen to the transcript again from the show, but it basically said that there were I think they had encountered some kind of visitors from a like a very very small but very very massive object. Um, had well, and they celebrated this object um, like every 60 years when they said that it was exactly between us and um, Sirius, the star Sirius, and and so it's sort of like, okay, well, what's up with this? They have this big elaborate thing every 60 years, um, talking about some some something to do with Sirius. Um, so what's going on, right? And in I think it was the 60s or the 70s, an object orbiting Sirius was discovered. And oh, I'm gonna have to drink some of this miracle fluid here. Yeah. Uh, so they knew of this object before uh, before science knew about it, right? And they accurately described where it was and what it was like, and actually, very very accurately said, how it was moving. So that's pretty interesting, and that's pretty cool. Um, you got to wonder about those kinds of things. It's these white crows that can just completely destroy a well-established uh, theory, right? I mean, you need one white crow, and the statement all crows are black is gone, right? It's just gone. So, it's yeah, we really don't know, um, you know, what what has really happened in the past. It's so much information is lost that it's really difficult to obtain any good data, right? I mean, I guess there's lots of data out there, but it's really complicated, right? Um, yeah, no, I totally agree, Atta, that yeah, I mean, technology is uh, is pretty nice, right? But we're basically the same. We've basically been exactly the same uh, for the last 10,000 years at least, right? If not a little bit more. So the human beings, uh, as living creatures, haven't really changed in you know these kinds of time scales. So I and all of us are just as primitive as they were 10,000 years ago. We just have different kinds of gadgets now. That's all. That's all. And yeah, that has nothing to do with intelligence or knowledge or anything else. Yeah, for sure. Hmm. Careful with that stuff. Joyce said all you need is one purple cow. Yep, that's it. That's it. Precisely. So anyway, I thought that was a pretty cool show. I don't know if I'd ever seen that one or not. I picked it out of the list of all of them because it had some kind of astronomical uh, uh, slant to it. So, and I want to keep my rabbit uh, shows, either astronomical or you know scientific. And then the second one I showed was another secret life of machines, and we looked at the word processor. And as I said, this television series was done in England in, I want to say, like the late 70s or early 80s, um, because I mean, they couldn't say very much about computers, because uh, there wasn't a lot yet for them to say about that. The personal computer was still sort of, being developed, right? Um, uh, so yeah, yeah, they did have one of those 5 1/4 inch floppy drives though. So yeah, yeah. I'm not old enough to have learned anything with punch cards or anything like that. Yeah, uh, my first computer uh, was. Hold on, I'm gonna go get it. So my first computer that I ever had was that. This exact, this one. This is the one. Anyway, so you can see it had a keypad, ZX81, it says Sinclair. So there's a slot for the memory expansion. There's things over here, ear, mic, power. That you plug into your TV. Nothing over here. Nothing there. You can choose channel 2 or channel 3. I don't know what that is. FCC identification, data, made in England. So, yeah, I got this in, I want to say 1982, 1983. It has 1K of memory. 1K. 1,000, well, 1,024 bytes of sort of user memory. It's also got, I don't remember how many K of internal memory, because when you turn this on, what you get is a prompt that allows you to start writing a program in BASIC. And that's all you really have. You can also do assembly language. You can peek and poke, but unfortunately, I never got into that. I didn't understand it. I was just it was something that I could not grasp. As I said, this is dense. This is like neutron star dense. So yeah, a lot of things just do not sink in. And at that time, assembly language, I didn't understand how computers worked. So I think if I would have understood that, then assembly language probably would have been a little bit easier. So, but yeah, that was it. I learned the day I got this. The day I got this, I put it down. I plugged it all in. I took the book out. There was a manual, and that manual taught BASIC. And I sat down and I stayed up the whole night. It's the first time that I'd ever stayed up all night, because the adrenaline rush was so intense. I don't think I haven't had very many of those kinds of adrenaline rushes, but so I learned BASIC in one night. I was writing programs of my own, the next day, the next week, and I kick myself now because I never. And here's another thing where it's like really dense, right? But I never. I was writing computer games for myself, right, on this machine. And I was buying games. This came with a 16K expansion memory that you could slide on the back here. And so with 16K, you could get into some pretty serious games. So I was buying games, not very many, because I mean, just I didn't have the funds to do that, right? I mean, I put it all into the computer. I didn't have anything else. Um, but did get a few games. It never dawned on me to try to market my games because I had a bunch. I had a bunch of them that I just I just wrote and played all in BASIC, not part of assembly or anything like that. If I would have I think that getting into writing game programs, I would have had to uh, learn assembly. And I don't know if I would have or not. If I would have seriously thought about writing games, then I think I would have learned pretty quickly that I needed to learn this assembly language stuff. And I think if I would have had that incentive, that motivation, then I probably would have. But it never dawned on me to uh, try to market my games, which were fun, you know. Uh, so then a couple years later, I upgraded. So I upgraded. This is the Timex Sinclair 2068 with 72K of memory, and I just I had no idea what I was going to do with 72K of memory. That was absolutely huge. So again, what I did is I wrote games. I wrote more elaborate games on this, and I never thought about marketing them. I could have and I should have, and I never even crossed my mind. And I think the reason why it never crossed my mind was because I was on the rocket. I was on the rocket that was pointed to astronomy. I wasn't on a computer programming rocket. I was on the astronomy rocket. So never even dawned on me. And, you know, I think about it now and it's like, oh man, that was a big missed opportunity because, yeah, I mean, now my understanding is that people still use these, and I've sort of thought about, I've thought about considering um, getting back into these and doing, learning the assembly language, how to do that. Because now I understand how computers work and I know how to do assembly language. So I would just have to learn this language. Um, but I don't know if there's a market out there for these kinds of things. I don't know. There might be. There might be. I don't know. Now, Ata, I don't keep a lot of things, and I don't really have a lot of things. I mean, I've got a lot of. I guess I do have a lot of garbage, but the cool thing is that this still works. It still works, and the other one, the 2068, I just plugged it in the other day to my TV to see if it would work, and it does. It still works. So yeah, yeah. But I'm sort of curious to know if there's a market. Um, there's a YouTube channel that I watch. I think it's called like the 8-bit guy, and he restores old computers and plays old computer games and all that kind of stuff. I should get a hold of him and um, see if he thinks that there's still a market for new games for these old machines. Because if there is, I might give it a shot. I might give it a shot. I could come up with something. I think probably could. Um, yeah, and a lot of old things do still work. So that's why I was so happy the other day to pull out my slide rule because it works. And this one is from the 50s. There it is. Slide rule. I think I mentioned to Bobby uh, that yeah, I've got a typewriter that I think is from like the 50s or the 60s, something like that. That I used to use. Um, I don't know. I stopped a couple of years ago. Um, yeah, but I mean, I've still got it. Could still get ribbon for it, which I just found astonishing. But so yeah, I like the old stuff. Not necessarily because it's old, but because it's like it works. It works, and it's like when you've got something that works, why, I mean, if something really, really works, then there's no problems with it, right? It just works, and and uh, and so there's no need to change those kinds of things if they work. So if you come up with a new version of the wheel, right? Um, it's got to be really a lot better than the original one in order to at least convince me, to switch, right? So that's why I like the slide rule for sure. Calculator does the same thing, but it does it faster. It does it faster, and faster in some circumstances is uh, is much desired. Cheers. Yeah, I had a lot of fun learning basic that night, and yeah, I didn't realize it, right? I didn't realize it until many years later, right? Maybe 5 or 6 years later, that I actually had an aptitude for programming. It comes very easy to me, and but the fact that I learned basic in one night should have told me that right there, but it didn't. It was like because it was just a different rocket. Anyway, so let's just finish. I posted. I was talking about Africa before, and there was this paper over at Archive that I posted a link to, and let's just go take a look at it really quick, and then call it a shoe. Share my screen. I'm gonna hide that. I don't know why that did that. So, development in astronomy and space science in Africa. So, the development of astronomy and space science in Africa has grown significantly over the past few years. These advancements make the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals more achievable and open up the possibility of new beneficial collaborations. Oh, that made it pretty big. So, until recently, South Africa, with the Southern African Astronomical Observatory and I don't know how to pronounce that, Radio Astronomy Observatory, um, Namibia, with the high energy stereoscopic system, and Morocco, Algeria, and Egypt, with their optical observatories, were almost the only astronomy references in Africa. Also, South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria, and Algeria were the only four African countries with established satellite programs. African Union took important steps in promoting the development of astronomy and space science on a continental scale. So in Eastern and Northeast Africa, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Sudan have made the most significant achievements. In 2005, in Ethiopia, the Institute of Geophysics, Space Science, and Astronomy was established as a national seismological, geomagnetic, and geodetic observatory. The Ethiopian Space Science Society played a crucial role in establishing the Entoto Observatory and Research Center in 2013, creating the first optical observatory in East and Central Africa with its two 1 meter telescopes. There you go. So those are very blue. Look at that huge secondary mirror. Boy, these are fast, very, very short or small F ratios. But there's a picture of them both there. That's pretty cool. I wish they would have put a person next to this. It's kind of hard to. I mean, if these are 1 meter and a person's about a meter and a half, so yeah, a person would be able to sort of stick their head in there and look at the mirror, right? So their head would be in the tube area here. So that's pretty cool. 2016, the Ethiopian Space Science and Technology Institute was established. Um, and it's working on its first micro satellite. It's planning to launch its first remote sensing and telecommunication satellite in the next few years. So that's kind of interesting, yeah, to have Ethiopian satellites up there. So Kenya joined SCA. So Africa is going to have a VLBI. That's pretty cool. First optical observatory in the near future. Funding has been secured in 2018 through the UK Astronomy Technology Centre to complete surveys of two sites. February 2017, the Kenya Space Agency was established with the aim to develop space science and technology, and the first Kenyan remote sensing CubeSat um, developed in collaboration with the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency was launched in May 2018. So the Sudan, well, Oh, did we? Yeah, we skipped a page here. So Sudan, West Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, and Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso have made significant developments in astronomy and space science. The Ghana Space Science and Technology Institute, established in 2012. Um, part of SCA, Ghana. The Ghana Radio Observatory was established in August 2017, covering frequency range 4 to 8 gigahertz with a single 32-meter dish. Cool. Nigeria, Center for Basic Space Science. Successfully assembled and installed a 3-meter radio telescope in order to better understand the operation and control of such a telescope. 3-meter isn't too exciting, but I would like to have a 3-meter. So they want to build a who is this? Egypt. Egypt wants to build a 6-meter telescope, largest telescope in the Arab region, possibly in northern Sinai. Algeria, most astronomy research activities are carried out at the Centre de Recherche in Astronomie, Astrophysique et Geophysique. An 80 centimeter telescope. It's 0.8 meters. That's pretty big. That's like a 30, well, what, 32-inch? Something like that. So that's a pretty big scope. There are plans to build 2 new observatories, northern Algeria and southern Sahara. They don't say how big. Morocco, a remote half-meter scope. The Morocco, I don't know how to pronounce that, Sky Survey. The 0.6 meter TRAPPIST North scope. Whoop, dang it. Renoir instrument. OwlNet. Southern Africa continues to be a major player in astronomy and space science. It's the only country in the South with an established national space agency. Launched 2 satellites. SCA, Meerkat, 64 dish array, Southern African Radio Observatory, Namibia, There's the Ghana Radio Observatory. Pretty nice. Development in Africa with radio astronomy. Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, unfortunately, Africa was so exploited and so, kept down that they're needing a lot of extra help to be able to do all of this. But yeah, whatever. Yeah, large areas with dark night skies. Africa has amazing potential due to natural and human resources for scientific research in astronomy and space science. At the same time, the continent is still facing many difficulties, and countries are now recognizing the importance of astronomy, space science, and satellite technology for improving some of their main socioeconomic and ecological challenges. That's cool. Anyway, so yep, there's astronomy in Africa too, which is why I always, when I mention Europe, I am always going to mention Africa too because they're in the same time zones, more or less. All right, well, I think it's time to get out of here for today. So I'm glad everybody could stop by, join the ever growing circle of friends who come together pretty much every single day at 2 hours UTC and, talk astronomy for an hour or so. And sometimes some tangents, you know, computers, but, computers are used in astronomy extensively. We could not do anything that we do now without the computer. No way. No way. So, yeah. All right, and Bobby says he's going to play Hearts of Space over on his Rabbit channel, so check that out. All right, I'm going to get out of here. So take care, everybody. I will see you on the spin. Just one spin of the Earth. Actually, a little bit less, right? But one spin of the Earth all the way around takes a whole day. Takes a whole day to go around once. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I don't notice it. So it's, pretty smooth, um, not flying off or anything. So sometimes you got to hold on to your hat, but that's about it. So, all right. Take care, everybody. I will see you on the spin tomorrow. Bye.